please let us get jerseys. I'm telling you, it'll work out. It makes it look so much more formal, official. The first thing people see when they see the league are people in jerseys. So that right away, they're going to think, oh, my gosh, in the league, in a backyard, you're wearing jerseys? Okay, this is a big step.
All right, here we go. This is the Living Numbers Podcast, and I am your host, Tony Rambles. This is the place where everyone's interesting if you ask the right questions. Okay, of course, before we start off, I have my 4 appeals, 20 seconds, ready, set, time. Actually, for this show, we're going to do a 24-second shot clock, and our guest here is going to keep me on time. Probably going to get a violation. All right, here we go. Ready, set, go. Number 1, rate, review 5 stars on whatever platform you listen to. Number 2, follow me on IG and TikTok at The Living Numbers Podcast. Number 3, subscribe on Apple and Spotify for behind-the-scenes content. And number 4, you can support the vision by purchasing merch, subscribing, and then going through the other services that I offer as well. Link in the description. What do you say? Did I make it?
I think there was a few seconds, but I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
Okay. All right. No turnover. We got the shot off in time.
Yeah.
Bucket's good. Okay. So I'm pretty sure by all of the references that you guys may have an inkling of part of what this podcast will be about today. But of course, whenever someone's on for the first time, they have to get an elaborate introduction. So, hailing from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, today's guest is both a talented hooper and writer. Our guest and his family started their very own basketball league called I didn't ask him if this would be right, but I'm just going to take a shot here with the name. The BBALstory. And they are wrapping up their 3rd season with playoffs starting July 22nd. So if you're in the Lancaster area, go check it out. Along with helping run the league under the All Duties Assigned tab. We all have that in our jobs. Part of his job is also to write blog posts on the games, teams, and players. So shout out to Johnny. Former Catholic Crusader, now 2-way sharpshooter for the Besecker Cherry Pickers. I present the Johnny Besecker. I hope I'm saying that name correctly.
It's Besecker, but it's okay. We didn't clarify. No worries at all. But yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Means a lot. I'm excited to get this going.
Besecker. Okay.
Yes.
JB.
That works too.
I was on IG and I come across this video where it's like, have you ever wanted to start your own basketball league or something? Well, these guys did it in their backyard. Whoever put that together, they did a great job.
They did.
So I'm like, wait a second. So I click on it and it takes me to your page. And I'm like, man, I got to get somebody on to talk about this. This is amazing. This is like every hooper's dream to have a freaking league going on in their backyard. And you guys do this every Sunday. And we have to start with how it started. So our first number here is 7. So you go on the website and it talks about the behind the scenes people. And there were 7 of them, which I'm sure there are more because you're not even on there. So how did this thing come together? Whose idea was it? And I'm pretty sure, based on the information that I read, that your parents pretty much put the foot through the door and got this thing running.
Yeah, so actually, funny enough, it started way back when I was about in 5th or 6th grade. We tried to do this league with jerseys for NBA teams. So we each picked a team. And, with 5th or 6th graders, you can't get a lot of commitment. They can't drive. There's not a lot of free time.
Yeah.
You're relying on basically their parents to take them. And so we tried to do the league then, and we had a few games where it worked out. Out of 7 weeks, we maybe got two weeks that actually worked. But we put a lot of effort into it, and it was something that we had then, and it was always in the back of my head to kind of start it up again with my brothers. I would say me, my older brother Jebby, my younger brother Liam were kind of the ones who really enjoyed it. And then I remember the summer after COVID, around April, I texted my brothers in our group chat and I said, listen, guys, I have an epiphany. I think that was word for word what I said. I said, I have an epiphany. I said, we should start it up again. And they said, are you sure? You think we can do this? I said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? We're definitely going to be able to do this. So we hit up, 60 of our buddies. They're all for it. Everybody's about it. I asked my parents what they think about it. My dad's all on board. My mom's there to help out. Everybody's willing to put their foot in and kind of make sure the thing gets rolling. And then, start with 6 teams, 60 guys. And now here we are with 10 teams under 30. So a lot of help from all sorts of people that there's too many to even name.
So let's start with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
Because says your dad, Joe.
Yes.
Right? Is the CEO. So how is it having CEO and then dad? Like are the lines blurred? How does that work?
There's definitely, we butt heads a lot, but I would say they almost coincide because a lot of what he tries to tell me is more from a dad perspective rather than a boss in a way. So the lessons he's trying to teach me is the delivery comes from a dad, but the lesson is more of a, I see the vision. I'm in charge. You're gonna see why down the line why this may be the best. But yeah, I mean, my dad. I say it all the time. He's my role model. He's the most generous guy in the world. I love him to death. He does amazing help for this league. He gets his pizzas after every game. I mean, we get like 20 pizzas for all the people who come, and he's always there talking to everybody, holding court, and then he's announcing the games now. He loves doing that. So, yeah, he's heavily involved.
Wow. Hey, man, shout out to Joe.
Yeah.
Shout out to the good dads out there supporting their kids. And I know just from actual conversations that I've had with my own dad is that there's always like this toe in the line because you want what's best for your kids, but at some point you can't keep trying to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Then there's going to be some rebellion. Like, okay, I'm not a kid anymore. I have my own life. I need to make my own decisions. And I saw that my dad, he definitely struggled in that area.
100%. I'm there with you, man.
And so just having a dad, because I think you're like 22.
20. I just turned 23.
Okay, 23.
Yeah.
And so I know for me, 23, I got married at 24.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, you're going to push me along. I got a girlfriend right now.
Okay. Shout out to the girlfriends too. They're important.
Yeah, they're huge.
So what about mom? Because she plays a big part too.
So our logo was designed by her. If you look at the league and the aesthetic of it all, it was all her. She's huge in the arts and crafts. I can't thank her enough for what she does on game days. She helps me set up the tables and chairs, even though she shouldn't. She should be sitting inside in the air conditioning, not worrying about it, but she just loves to help. We have a merch stand that she works during the games. She makes sure everybody gets waters. If somebody has a cut, she'll bandage them up, and then she stays and helps afterwards. She is, I say this all the time, the 3 most important people in the league are my mom, my sister, and my girlfriend. They all 3 of them do an unbelievable job. And just to go back to my mom, she's always there. If I need any sort of advice or direction and where I'm going, I always go to her because I know I can agree with her or disagree with her. Whereas if I disagree with my dad, there may be, some furniture moving. So But yeah, she's incredible, and I can't thank her enough for all the help she's given me. So
Shout out to mom.
yeah,
And this is so great. I think just coming from where I'm from, Detroit, Michigan, West Side, shout out, what's up? Uh, you don't always get like these families that stick together and can like run a business together. Like everybody's involved, everybody's doing their part. And even if there are disagreements, you don't have anybody moving out or leaving a dang on group chat, because they're upset,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff is, we see it all the time, unfortunately.
Yes.
But it's so great to hear that y'all have built this thing and that y'all are running it together, and everybody does their thing. So you've talked about your brothers a couple of times already. Who's the best hooper?
Oh gosh, that's put me on the spot.
On the spot. I'll go
say
first.
this. What?
I'll go first. Out of me and all of my brothers, all 8 of them, I'm definitely the best hooper.
Well, that's some big competition. Out of 8, you're the best. There you go.
D-Lo, Troy, Prince, y'all gonna, come see me, come for me, whatever you want to say. But I'm definitely the best hooper. Okay.
I love that answer. Well,
it's the truth.
I'll say, so am I included in this, or is it just my 2 brothers against each other?
Oh, no, you're included.
Okay. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but I'm the only one who played high school basketball. I'll say that. High school varsity basketball. So we'll leave it at that. I don't want,
all right,
them to get too upset with me.
So the funny thing is, none of us played basketball like at the high school level, middle school, or anything really. We are all football players.
Oh, okay.
I played receiver. Troy played running back. My brother, he's a year older than I am. And then our younger brother, who is 6 years younger, he played quarterback. And could have done some good things, but he didn't love football like that. He was actually a hooper. And so
what could have been?
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, this dude could throw it. He could spin it. And we'd be out there working with him, working on his 3-step drop, 5-step drop, looking off the receiver, Brett Favre in it, all of that kind of stuff.
Typically, the youngest brother gets the best training just because they have all the older brothers taking care of them.
Older brothers who couldn't cut it. And then, speaking of younger brothers, my younger brother, Prince, who we didn't actually grow up with. He was still in Detroit. We were in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
He's like 6'1" or something like that. So
you got the height advantage.
Technically haven't seen him hoop, but just being the older one and growing up in Detroit and like I know what physicality is, yeah, I'm good. So D-Lo, I think, is probably the most skilled hooper, but I'm the most athletic, and I have maybe not the same skill, but I'm like a little bit under him, under D-Lo. So I would say probably D-Lo is second, but Prince, I heard a lot of good things about his hoop. But we're not here to talk about my family.
Well, you haven't seen him play, so for as far as I'm concerned, you're the best.
There we go. Hey, see, Johnny, that's why I got you on here. That's why I like it. Okay. When did you all start to realize, like, okay, we have something that's pretty special here? Maybe because you started off with those first teams, you got your buddies in, and then I'm sure at some point it kind of start to hit the incline and start to get a little uptick and some traction. So when did that happen?
I would say there was kind of levels to where it went, oh gosh, this is, taking another step. I would say when we first started the league, it's tough. The first and second week, I would say, are always the hardest because first week, you got to get people to come. And then the second week, you got to get people to come back, which is the toughest part because you can obviously get people to come for the first one. But if you want to get them to come back, you got to set it up right the week one. So after week one and all the buzz from everything is when on Twitter we had, I thought, okay, this is going well. And then one of our buddies made highlight tapes for each of the game, and he had a great camera and was a great editor, and he's now in the league. When he posted those, they, in our terms, blew up on Instagram at the time. We didn't really have an Instagram, so they got 150, 200 likes, and we're thinking, oh my gosh, we're gonna be on ESPN soon. So that was the first step where we thought, oh my gosh, this worked. This was wow, we're kind of growing here. And then that was kind of the big one in the first year. The second year, when we had jerseys, and just seeing that the first week, everybody in the jerseys, I thought that was the coolest thing to see the league as a whole just finally kind of just growing. And the second year, we had a website then, and we had all the stuff kind of set up to where it was more professional, and that was great. And then obviously this year with the TikTok that blew up, that was, for me, I still haven't really, there's been moments where I just sit and think about it, I'm like, holy smokes, this really just went to a level I didn't know it could get to. And not to say we've done anything with it yet, but just seeing that many people, comment, put it on their story, send it out to somebody, get in DMs, stuff like this happening right now wouldn't have happened. So, I mean, it is really just, it's incredible. So that's definitely the biggest one, but there was steps each year.
Yeah, you're just along for the ride. You're like, man, I can't believe this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, there are always those points that you can, even with my show, I'm like, this point here is when I felt this way. I felt like we were going in this direction. And the same thing as you progress, and hopefully you're creating something special, which I believe you all have. And we'll kind of pioneer like other leagues of this nature. Like, I don't know if there's something around, in Texas or Michigan or any other place like this, but as you all start to grow it, and I've seen, I think it was on a website or a blog post or something like that, talking about how the size is pretty much about double next year as far as people being registered and tryouts and that stuff. We'll get to that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But how is it for you being in the league and running the league? Like, how do you?
That's a great question. I would say for me, it's always league first. That's always what I'm going to be focusing on. So for the games, we have stats going on, and that is something we have an app for it. It's called Easy Stats. And if you've ever tried to keep stats, it's not as easy as you think. It is actually pretty difficult. So I always have a guaranteed one stat keeper with my girlfriend. She's the best. She also helped design all our stats on our website. She's an absolute genius. I don't know why she's with me, honestly. I'm beyond lucky. So. But she keeps the stats, and then I'll do the stats. I got to make sure the live stream's running, and I get help with that. I get help with all these things, but it's just kind of overseeing it and making sure if there is an issue, I'm available. So yeah, if we have a game at 7:00, we start at 4:00. For the first 3 hours, I'm sitting down, keeping stats, making sure everything's running. And then 10 minutes before 7:00, I got to stretch, warm up, play my game. And then right as the game ends, I got to get into the next game, make sure that's all ready for the next people. I'm not making any excuses for myself or my level of play if it is not as good or anything like that. I'm just saying it is definitely there's a bit of juggling involved, but I love it. I love every second of it. So
you're like dang it, what's the movie with the Flint Tropics?
Semi-pro.
There you go, semi-pro. Yes. You're like that character. You're running stuff, and then it's like, oh crap, it's time to play.
Yeah.
Do you think eventually you won't be playing anymore, and there will just be so much that you have to just kind of CEO it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This year I was gonna, retire because I just thought it's getting too complicated, too much to keep going. But I haven't played well this year, and I'm thinking there's no way I can end like this. So I'm gonna keep playing. I'm gonna make a comeback this next year to hopefully do better. But I will say, if we win the championship this year, that may change some things. I go out on top.
In the sunset.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I want to talk about one more person before we talk about the league. And I'm definitely going to put you on the spot here because you've mentioned this person a bunch of times. Okay, talk about your girlfriend because you talk about how she's running the league. And I wish we could just talk about everybody, but your girlfriend and how she's doing stuff and how she got involved.
So the first year we started, she was kind of just, let me know it's going well, just a positive reinforcement. And then in the off season, we talk about stuff, ideas, and she'd always bounce them off of me. Tell me what she likes, what she think will work. I mean, she's my rock. She's incredible. But then the second year, people don't like to keep stats necessarily because there's a lot of people who just want to sit, eat pizza, talk, watch the game. So she volunteered to do it. And, at first she's not a huge sports fan, so she didn't know what she's doing, but now she's the best at it. She crushes it. Every week she shows up. She either brings me, Chipotle or Cava to eat because I'm normally just out there sweating. Like, didn't eat yet. And then she helps me out, brings me some food. I eat. She helps keep stats. She helps my sister out who does the scoreboard if she ever needs help. But no, she's the best. So I can't thank her enough for helping me out. It'd be like if I showed up to her job and started helping her out. But, obviously I can't do that. So,
hey, shout out to the girlfriends.
100%.
Shout out to the wives. Those people are some backbones. Because y'all started the league, 3 years ago, right? This is season 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so, all right, y'all been doing this for a while.
Yeah, well, right? I have been dating her for almost 6 now, so.
Oh, all right. All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
It's time.
I know.
It's time here.
Everybody's on me.
Hey, man, don't make it complicated. Okay, maybe we'll talk about that later, right? All right, here we go. Okay, next number here. I got 10 teams and 130 players. So that's 2 numbers, 2 for the price of 1. Mm-hmm. All right. Who in the league is like really good? Like you're like, I don't know why you're here.
Well, we have some former D1 players. One of them, he's like a Lancaster legend, Devon Pinkard. He went to Delaware. He would be leading the league in probably every statistical category, but he got hurt week 1. He's unbelievable. We play pickup. He's, I don't know, 6'5", 6'6". I honestly don't know how tall he is. You can play the best defense in the world, and he'll still get a shot up easily. You're just too small. He'll drain it on you. His brother played at JMU, so he's on my team. Luckily, I got him. But, I mean, he has like 3 posters already this year. He's unbelievable. But on a lower level of players, I'll say the last 2 MVPs, the first year was Devin Atkinson. I guess the best way to describe him, he reminds me of Luka. He's sort of he's not the most athletic. Huh?
Okay.
He's not the most athletic looking. He's not the fastest, but he'll get to where he wants whenever he wants. Great facilitator, great leader. He's a champion. And then this past year, our MVP was Ross Conway. He's like a Larry Bird, just a sniper, can score. Last year, he averaged like 32. Unbelievable player. So, and then this year we got, I'm not sure if you're familiar with MJM Hoops, but Markel Wainsley, he's probably the best one-on-one player you'd ever. I mean, you can't guard him one-on-one. You need help. So. Those are the 4 or 5 that I'll give that are probably – that would be my all-time BBAL starting 5.
So you did this a little bit. NBA comps.
I'll try and think – I'll think of some other players on my team. I
know when I watched your highlight. I think it was a high school highlight. It was like – and I thought, I'm like, looking at your game, I'm like, okay, that's a 2-way sharpshooter right there.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot.
Because yeah. I mean,
that's the best compliment I could get.
Moves a lot without the ball, and anybody who plays 2K, you all know the archetypes, okay?
Yes.
So he moves a lot without the ball, catch and shoot, let it go, and then really pesky on a defensive end, getting some pass lanes. All right, I saw you bring the ball up the court a little bit, and you got off. You're like, this is not my game. I'm not the point guard.
Yeah.
But when you caught that ball and you put it up, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a two-way sharp right there. So that's my comp for you. I guess that will be like a Klay Thompson.
I'll take that any day of the week. Klay Thompson, I love it. I'd say another player
Klay style.
I'll say another player that is a great athlete, and I'd say he plays a lot like, this is good. This is a bit of a stretch. Like Clint Capella when he was with Harden. He played for the Rockets. He was just a big man who'd set pick and rolls, just alley-oops. This guy on the Woodpeckers, his name's Elijah Eberle. I mean, this guy is a phenomenal rim protector. He's got Hall of Fame rim protector. And I think he has 2 alley-oops this year, which is unheard of in our league. I mean, the first alley-oop, you would have thought you saw the Red Sea part. I mean, everybody was, what just happened? So, I'd say, I guess I could come up with a better, like DeAndre Ayton. I'll give him that. DeAndre Ayton.
No, I think Capella's good. His defense is way better than Ayton's.
All right, we'll do that. Yeah. I just didn't want people to, think I'm giving him some scrub, because I personally think Capella's a good player, but
the people who know basketball, they know what's up. Like Capella with Harden, yeah, like come on now. What about shooters? Who's the crazy shooter? You said Ross.
Ross is always going to be up there. He's a phenomenal shooter. Kevin Roldan, he's on the Cherry Pickers. He almost like a Trae Young. He's not the tallest guy, but he's quick. Step back threes, gets hot quick. Tyler Crespo, he has the most points ever scored in a BBAL game. He has 56 or something like that. He did that last playoffs. Ooh. I mean, he's unreal unreal 3-point shooter. Another player on the Cherry Pickers, KJ Hamler. He's leading the league in percentage, I believe. Nevin Roldan, he's a phenomenal shooter. I think he's leading the league in 3-point makes. But with him, it's weird because he's not really a spot-up shooter. He's so athletic. He'll make threes, but he can take you off the dribble easy. And he's probably one of the best defenders in the league too. So those were to name a few. Those guys, they're really, they're the cream of the crop. So
where do you fall like on the hierarchy? We'll just stick with your team, the Cherry Pickers. Are you? You already said it's.
Well, I'm the Titans. I'm the Titans.
You're on the Titans.
Yes.
Okay. So, where do you fall? Is it like, well, hey guys, I kind of run this league, so I'm definitely starting. So, fill in around me, or what's up? How do you work that?
Well, I mean, listen, I will say that I'm probably one of the top 5 better players on our team, so I don't think it's too much of an assumption to put me in the starting lineup. I don't know. I hope nobody does. I may need this conversation with my team. I hope nobody's afraid to ever sub me out because they think, I'm just like them. I'm a player. I don't want them to think, oh, if I sub him out, he's going to kick me out of the league or something. So
he's out. Release him.
I don't think anybody ever treats me like that. I never got the feeling of it. I get the occasional trash talk if I'm ever at the free throw line. Oh, he pays the refs. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course I do. Somebody's got to pay him. They don't come here for free. So, but, that's probably the most overused trash talk I get. Oh, you're paying the refs. Of course they're going to call that for you. It's your league. But, that all in all, I think everybody kind of just treats me as a regular player, though.
What's the best team?
Best team? Woodpeckers, probably. overall, over the past 3 years, they're the most consistently good. They made it to a championship the first year, won it the second year. They're 3-2 this year. The best team currently, the Gremlins. They're 5-0. They're funny enough, they went 0-8 last year, and now they're 5-0. But they got, I think what helps them, a lot of their guys, they went to high school together. So they have that chemistry going for them. And they have 3 guys on their team that could each give you 30 if they wanted to. So they're definitely the best team this year.
So how do you all balance teams? Because I know you have free agency, there are trades that can happen as well. So how do you make sure like one team just doesn't have all of the best players and they're just running the league?
Well, we try. I mean, so the first year, again, we had 6 teams. We did it originally. We did the draft, and all the teams were pretty even. There wasn't the team that finished worst in the regular season won the championship. So, it was kind of one of those. It was up to anybody, and I think that's the same with every year. And then the next year, instead of having everybody keep the same teams, and then the 2 new teams that were brought in pick from the new guys, we did a keeper system. So we each kept 4 guys, 5 including ourselves. So we each had our starting 5. Then everybody else is put into a draft. Then they draft from there. And then this past year, it was too much to keep 5. So we only kept 2 other guys. So we had 3 total guys from our previous teams brought back. And then we had a draft, which has always been pretty even. There's never been the sort of, oh, that's unfair that this team has this player. It's always worked out pretty well so far. But the trades, people complain about them. They think there's tampering involved. I'm not going to step in until I see something serious. So I'm all for trades. I think it brings great entertainment.
All right, Commissioner. He's like, I need some hard evidence first. You're going to have to show me some emails and some text messages.
100%.
Okay. What about your brothers in the league as far as like, how do they play? Are they good? What does that look like? And how's that dynamic once games end? How you all are kind of, I guess, talking at the dinner table?
They're polar opposites. My brother Liam, my younger brother, he's always been the one who he'll show up with the freshest fit, have, an arm sleeve on, one leg sleeve. He's wearing LeBron's one week. The next week he's trying to wear Jordan 1s. But he is I'll just put it this way. He has the most ejections we've ever had in the league. So he's a football and hockey guy, and he's playing basketball. So you can envision that.
Okay.
He's 6'4", 250, just a big body. He led the league in rebounds last year, but he's a beast. We'll talk. The Bullies are always his team's named the Bullies. Go figure. But his team's always going to be the most talked about. You either love them or hate them. They're entertaining. You can't deny that. But you either love them or hate them. And he's a guy. You'll know my brother's on the court when he's on the court. Now, on the other end, my brother Jebby, he's more of a behind-the-scenes guy. He doesn't need to start. He doesn't even need to play. He just wants to win. He'll sit behind the scenes, do a bunch of trades. I think he made 2 trades this year. Last year he made the first trade we've ever had. He'll do a lot of work and just trying. He doesn't mind playing. He loves winning, but he doesn't need to play if that means they win. So complete polar opposites on every category.
So Liam sounds like his team's like the Grizzlies.
Yes. Honestly, that's pretty spot on.
You're going to love him or you're going to hate him.
Yeah, Jebby, I mean, his name's Jeb. I call him Jebby. That's from like 3rd grade me. I've always called him that. But he is more of a – I'd say they're like I'm trying to think of a team that would work. Maybe like the Lakers. He's always making moves, trying to make his star players happy. with let's say, there's no LeBron on his team, but he's doing everything he can to make sure that his key players on his team maintain happy, rather than, all right, if you're not happy, I'll trade you. He wants to keep everybody together and maintain happiness within the organization.
So he's like the Iguodala. He's like,
Yeah. Yes.
If you need me, but I'm gonna be working and trying to keep everybody on the same page.
Yeah.
I got the NBA stuff in my head, man.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I could tell with your lengthy knowledge. I wish he would have stayed with the Sixers too. I mean, it was time for him to go because we were going through the rebuild. I'm glad he got his rings, but that's tough seeing him get 4 rings with the Warriors. He's a former Sixer.
People forget, man. That dude on the Sixers was serious. Like, you want to talk about a
Athletic
two-way guy?
freak. The guy could jump out of the gym.
He was doing everything. Oh, man. Okay. What's it like afterwards? After y'all play? Like, what is the talk with you and your brothers and your parents? Do y'all kind of sit and debrief about that Sunday that just passed?
So right after we're done, we always just take everything down, put all the tables back, put it all in the shed where we have it stored. And then that gives about 30 minutes of people that you hear the chit chat. We leave the lights on so people are still in the court. And you hear the chit chat of people just going over their games. I can't believe this happened. Oh my gosh, I went off today. All this stuff. And the whole time, me and my mom, my girlfriend, were cleaning up. So then we normally go to this restaurant called Stubby's, who's now one of our main sponsors. We go there, and then that's when everybody releases everything they got to say. It's like a therapy session for people. Everybody talks about what they think about their game. I'm so done with this player. I'm going to trade this player. And then it's, the other side of it is, I said I was going to trade him last week, but this week he really showed something to me. So it's all that sort of talk. And honestly, as you can imagine, just with sports in general, that the post-game discussions are the best. You're just eating, wings and pizza and just chilling and getting to talk about everybody's thoughts, and you laugh because you just hear the most dramatic things out of your teammates out of a loss. It's like, all right, let's relax here. It's one loss. It's 1 week. We're okay. So that's honestly probably one of the best parts of the week for me, just sitting and debriefing on everything.
Real quick story here, very short. I played in the basketball league. I think it was last summer, and it was a co-ed league. But my team was the only team that was co-ed. Everybody else, no ladies. Yeah, the look on your face says it all. For the people who are not watching.
Oh my gosh.
It was tough. It was tough. Yes, sir.
I can imagine.
We actually caught up. Well, I didn't actually bring any of these people in, but once you go through that first week and you're like, oh no, we can't go out like this. A couple of people sent out some feelers. And so at one point, I think we had maybe like 7. And then it went up to like 10 players.
Mm-hmm.
So we had too many people. And then it was kind of like, well, some of y'all kind of got to go. And it was just a disaster. I think maybe we won like 1 game.
At least you got one.
Oh, man, it was tough. I had to just change my mind. I'm like, okay, we're not going to be really winning. To go out there and try to have some fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that was great.
You had to submit the competitive ego for a bit.
It just wasn't happening. It just was not happening. And I probably could have put up more shots than I did. I'm definitely a coach on the court, more that secondary ball handler, not necessarily a, hey, bring it up the court, but give it to me in a triple threat. I can make some things happen. Two-way shot creator. We'll go with that. All right. Our next number here is $22.99, and that is the cost of the Almost Sunday T-shirt, which I was like, "This is genius. This is dope." So let's talk about the business side of running this basketball league. So we talked about refs a lot beforehand. So if y'all want that, y'all got to go check out the behind the scene. Subscribe. What is it like? How are you able to find players, keep players, field teams? What was that like in the beginning, and then now going into the end of season 3 and going into season 4? I guess next summer.
So for the first year, we didn't charge anything because we just wanted to see if this would work out. My parents put up all the money for everything, and it wasn't anything they told me I'd have to pay them back for. They were just helping me out. So the court we played at, my parents actually run a charity foundation, so we play there if it rains, if we weren't outside. The refs, my dad paid all the refs. We didn't have jerseys. The only requirement for each team was just come in your correct color. But anyways, I think that then the second year that we had, that's my mom.
Hey, come on, get mom in here.
I think she's a little camera shy. It's okay though.
Just tell her to wave.
She says hello.
Mom friendly podcast. Y'all are doing great things if you can hear me.
But yeah, and then so the first year, it was just kind of getting everybody to commit to the team they were on. My parents again put up all the money for it. The second year is when they told me, look, if you want to keep doing this, you're gonna have to find your way of putting up some money for it. So the refs, as much as you need them, they are expensive. That takes a huge chunk out of the amount of money we're bringing in. So the first year was a $30 payment, covered just the refs. But luckily, we got a sponsorship from a company who put up a good amount of money for they could cover each post for Trout CPA Player of the Week. That was what it was. And that helped with a lot of costs. And same with this year with, got to cover the cost for the videographers, the photographers, the reporters that we have. They don't ask for money, but, it wouldn't be right if I'm having these reporters come and I'm not paying them. So I'm sorry, I rambled on. I was a little distracted from these dogs, but that's some of the payments we had to make, and that's how we make some of our money.
Yeah, because if anybody, y'all should definitely go check out. Just if you look on Instagram, which is pretty much where I have seen everything, this is not like a rinky-dink operation. Like they got people out there doing post-game interviews. They've got, like you said, videographers, photographers. They got a website. There's stats. Like this is legit. Like if I was running a basketball league, this is the template here. This is how you would want to do it as far as having everything up to par. Because I'm sure you all came in and, well, this is a guess, but kind of like how I'm doing my show, it's like when people see this, I don't want them to think, oh, they're just running this out of their closet. This is a little mom and pop operation, whatever in their backyard. No matter how big or small it is, you want people to go, oh, okay, yeah, like they're running this the right way. Like there's a level of professionalism here that garners respect. So how did you all kind of get to that point with, I don't know, kind of bringing people on like, okay, I guess we need videographers. I guess we need stats. I guess we need a website. How did y'all kind of bring that stuff in, piece after piece?
So the first year it was, I think people had the idea of, oh, this is just a fun league. And then the second year was really when we took the step of, all right, we want to take this to a level of, this, we can compete with other leagues in Lancaster and hopefully win them out. So the step one, I think the jerseys, like I said earlier, jerseys were the biggest thing for me. I preached it. I know people weren't on board at first because they thought that's an expensive expense, that or pricey expense. That's something we could really do without. And I was preaching, please let us get jerseys. I'm telling you, it'll work out. It makes it look so much more formal, official. The first thing people see when they see the league are people in jerseys. So that right away, they're going to think, oh my gosh, in the league, in a backyard, you're wearing jerseys. Okay, this is a big step. And then the second thing, the website, that I think when you have a website, anybody can run a social media page and, try and follow up on that. Maybe not well, but social media is easy. I wanted to make a website so it had everything from all of our social media pages. I wanted to have blogs on there. I wanted to have updates on teams. player bios, all sorts of things. I thought that was another thing that would just help grow it to another level as well. And then the last thing, you can't have any of this mean anything if you don't have it put to videos. So the highlights, the videographers, photographers, that's the other thing those were the three. We had a survey done before the year. Those are the three biggest things that people found important about the league. And I 100% agree. The website / stats, the jerseys, and then the videographers and photographers. Because even if it's not me posting, people get their photos, they're putting it on their story. It's exposing on their end of who they know, their people. So just getting something to put out there. You want to not oversaturate, but just make sure that you have enough of a presence on social media that people always have you at the top of their mind.
Yeah, like I found you through just a random kind of post. Just, scrolling like we all do. And I'm like, well, wait, is this? And of course, just like you said, the jerseys. You're like, wait a second. They have full uniforms with original names.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you can see where it kind of emulates some of these other teams that you know.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that's pretty smart because we know branding. We know the Lakers. But if you see what is that team called? They kind of look like the Lakers.
Oh, the Lank Show, because Lancaster.
The Lank Show.
Yeah.
So that was really smart to kind of put that together and go. People will inherently or subconsciously go, hey, that's purple and gold. That's like the Lakers. And then you go Lank Show, perfect.
Yeah.
How did y'all come up with all these different uniforms, different combinations?
The first year, again, we picked a color, and then going forward with that, we each tried to pick our own color. The team names, that one was all the captains. The captains came up with that. So Liam, my brother, he picked the bullies because he considers himself a bit of a bully. Not to say he's a very nice guy. He's one of the nicest guys ever. But I'm just saying,
like, on the court.
On the court. I picked the Titans. I've always loved the Tennessee Titans, but the one thing I thought they missed with the Titans is I don't think they have a great logo personally. So when we designed our logos, I wanted to make it more like a Titan, a fierce knight, something with swords, something that looks a little scary.
Frightening.
I guess scary is the best term I could come up with there. But the Lank Show, that I think is honestly probably the best name. I love that name. I think it's so creative and on brand. But it was all the captains came up with the ideas. I wanted to make sure that when these captains brought in their teams, it felt like their own and they weren't given something from me to take over. It was more their own brand, their own idea. So that was all done by them.
And that helps with retention because they feel like it gives them ownership. Okay, yeah. Like I feel like this is really mine. Like I'll be back next week for the Lank Show.
Yeah, 100%.
And so the people who are the captains, were they all like people that you knew personally, or was it when like people started coming? Was it the best players? Like, how did you pick those captains to kind of start those teams off?
So for the captains, it was obviously my two brothers, and then the rest are just super, super close friends of mine that also happen to be good at basketball. Because I wanted to make sure there was some evil playing field that, if the team has one captain, at least they're good at basketball rather than already being down a level. So yeah, that's how we picked that. And it was also based off of if they're a bit of a leader, a guy I could trust when it comes to making sure people show up to the games. Their communication is key. That was the biggest thing for me. I wanted to make sure I could trust that these guys are going to communicate with me week in and week out. So that's how we kind of picked who runs the team.
Johnny, you're a CEO, man. You're literally running this thing. You're doing the dirty work. Because like when you listen to people talk who have grown businesses, to scale, it starts off with them like being in the league, playing, setting up tables, taking stats.
Yeah.
And eventually you can kind of hand some of that stuff off. And eventually it grows to where you're not doing work. And maybe you are just playing. Or I guess you pick which one you want to do. You want to play or you want to do the actual stuff. And and then it just grows and grows, and then eventually, I'm sure you're not going to be able to play in the league anymore because there's just too much.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to manage things, which we talked about, where you have to hang them up. At least for the league, I'm sure you'll play recreationally.
Yeah.
But man, I'm just, I'm going to take my hat off to you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. That is great words. And obviously with what you're doing, I look at my backdrop right now. I'm just sitting and there's nothing. You're so professional. I feel out of place. So what you're doing is great too. So
you're only 23 years old, man. Like you're freaking running a basketball league. Like this is serious stuff. And just like we talked about in the beginning, can't do it without the great people behind you. So we're going to come to the last part of the episode where we do our 3 whats. So you can go however long or short you want with these. So first what is, what's an opinion that you have that will be considered unpopular? This can be deep, it can be light, it can be funny or serious, it can be basketball related or non-basketball related. Business, up to you.
Opinion I have that'll be unpopular. I'm gonna go back to the why thing. I think an opinion I'll have is some people don't care what's at the bottom of people's hearts if they make a decision, as long as it turns out to be great. But I think deep down when it comes to the why, or why I think this is a good opinion, no pun intended, there is a difference when you're doing something for the right reason or when you're doing something out of the selflessness out of your heart. And I think that is why, in a way, I'm not saying I'm doing the right thing, but with this league, this league for me wasn't about, finding a way to make money. Obviously, I'd love to make it a job if I can, but I think there's a lot of people like me who miss playing in an organized setting where the people actually care about the player and making it more than, we're going to give you a team to play against in a basketball, and then you go play. Where for me, it's more, I want people to feel like they're a part of something, a part of a community for, 7-8 weeks out of the summer. It's all going to be BBAL. The Twitter is going to be talking about it. You're going to be getting interviewed. You're going to be supporting your team. You're going to be doing all this stuff, and it's just constantly in your head. And that's why I wanted to start it, because I think that's what's great about the organized play of sports. That's stuff outside of the sport itself. Anybody can play the sport, but the stuff outside of it. So I think, back to my original point, why is the most important thing for making decisions rather than what they're doing or who's doing it.
Well said.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's long-winded, but.
Hey, man, you're good in front of the camera.
Thank you. You as well.
Number 2. Well, hopefully one day this is my job too.
Yeah, I'm sure it will, man.
If you weren't doing, everything with the league, running it, BBA, what field would you be in? What would you be doing?
Well, I'd hope it'd be marketing because I just graduated from college with a marketing degree, but you never know how it turns out. It'd definitely be marketing, helping my dad out with his business, hopefully in that realm. Mm-hmm. But fingers crossed, I'm praying this works out for me just because this is something I'm so passionate about. Before the summer started, It was more of just, I'm going to give this my all. It's just one more summer. We'll see how it turns out. If it doesn't work out, okay, that's it. But everybody always says, chase your passion, do your dreams. So that's why I thought, all right, I'm going to do this one last time, see if it works out. So hopefully this will work out. But if not, to be doing some sort of marketing with my dad and in that realm, or event marketing, probably, because that's what I'm really doing every weekend. So,
man, that's so true. Okay, last what?
All right,
and this is great because you just graduated high school not too long ago. What advice would you give to someone in high school? People graduating those 14 to 18, 19 years old. What would you say to those kids?
Well, first, I would say don't rush college. I think college is important. You learn a lot of stuff in there. You learn how to be your own person, live on your own. But I personally don't think when I went to college I was ready. And it was a tough adjustment. But unluckily and luckily, COVID happened midway through my freshman year of college. So I was able to be home. So I lucked out a bit. But my two brothers, they took gap years. And I know some people can't afford that, but I think that was the best thing that happened to the two of them, to really grow, to know themselves, to know what their interests are. So to a kid in high school, I'd say, look, I know college seems like a very haunting thing, but when you're ready, it's probably one of the, like everybody says, it'll be probably the best 4 years of your life. Just you make new friends. You go hang out with your buddies all the time, whenever you want. Probably going to find a relationship at some point with some significant other. And, you'll find what you're truly passionate in, and make sure that it really is something you're passionate in, not what other people are trying to force you into. So that would be my 2 cents.
All right. Hey, that's a well worth it 2 cents. I take it. Okay, lastly, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find the league, plug your website, social medias, the whole shebang.
All right, so on Instagram, we're under LancasterBBAL. I think it's Lancaster_BBAL. You can follow us there. TikTok, I believe it's the same. Twitter, we're at sideline_BBAL, and we have BBAL StatMuse, which is where we post a lot of our stats and stuff. We have a YouTube channel where we live stream all the games if you want to check that out. We do Sport Core Report weekly where we run down the week. That's at _BBAL. Trying to think of any other socials. But yeah, Instagram is our headquarters. If you want to find out where everything else is, you can follow it through the Instagram. So please follow our Instagram, and you'll see some great things.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Johnny.
Tony. I really appreciate it. This is great.
Yeah, this was amazing. I'm so glad I was able to get you on. I just, you shoot the DM and you just never know what's going to happen. Some people they leave you on red. Sometimes they message you back.
You shooting the DM to me was I got butterflies getting the DM. I was nervous to respond, so thank you. Thank you. It really means a lot.
Make sure you guys go follow Johnny and the BBAL and all the stuff they're doing. I'm telling you, it is serious business over there. And make sure you go follow me.
Yes.
At the Living Numbers Podcast on Instagram, on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple. You can go subscribe there and get the behind the scenes content. Rate 5 stars, review, hit a like if you're watching this on YouTube. Y'all know the drill. And you can find all the other stuff that I do in the description with the Linktree link. There we go. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next Ramble.
I like that line.
Wow.
Thank you so much. This was a ton of fun.